Hey everybody, I'm Robert. I'd like to welcome you back to the channel. Welcome back down here to the garage. First of all, thank you guys so much for all the support, all the comments and everything you've been giving. I know, as mentioned in my last video, there wasn't a lot of action the last couple weeks, but we're back. We're getting things rolling again, and there's a lot of topics to cover. There's a lot of things. I told you we're going to start the YouTube shorts on days where we're not making the regular videos. Hope you guys are excited for that. It's just going to be little things of maybe details of the GT2, details of the 620, all the cars. And we're going to put those on this channel on off days. So if you guys have any ideas of little details of certain cars you want to see, whether it's suspension, braking systems, the interior, roof scoops, whatever, drop a comment below and we'll definitely touch on that. There's going to be timestamps in this video, so if you don't want to follow through every single topic all the way through, don't hesitate to hit the timestamps and check that out. But what's the topic today? Am I selling the GT2RS MR? Short answer, no. I think we've probably spoke about this several times, but it keeps coming up in comment sections, direct messages, etc. The backstory is that at Apex, Misha and I announced that we're not going to continue running taxis during TF drives, which is tourist drives, on the Nürburgring. We're going to continue using the GT2RS and other cars as taxis during track days, and the idea was that we could take the time and energy that we're focused on running TF operations with taxis and put it more into doing stuff with you guys, with our audience, with our friends from Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, wherever you guys might be coming from and watching the Apex story. We would have more time to have these kinds of conversations with you guys when somebody comes to Apex to actually sit down, maybe take a road tour with you guys. I've got ideas of maybe putting the 720S in as a road tour car where you guys can drive it. Misha and I are in the passenger seat with you, going for a 1 hour drive, looking at the local area and just chatting. So many different things that we're hoping to be able to implement with this extra time. But it does leave the question to some of you guys, what about the fleet? What are we going to do? Well, the GT2RS MR is a car that, as you know, being a Porsche non-fanboy, I guess I can say, I never should have been too attached to. However, there's certain things that have really intrigued me by the car. First of all is its reliability. It's absolutely been bulletproof. It's been the most reliable car that I have in the fleet. By far, in terms of taxis, better than the 720, better than the 600 LT, better than the F80 M3, better than the F82 M4. This car has taken a beating and it's been consistently fast while doing so. And that says a lot about the Manthey Racing kit. It says a lot about what Porsche has built. But it also has me attached to it because I really like that reliability. I like the fact that I can get in it. I'm sitting in a garage with literally 3 McLarens, 2 675s and the 620R sitting here, all of them with the hood open because the batteries are dead. And this car's actually sat 3 weeks longer than those, and I jumped in it and it fired right up, good to go. So that's just a testament to how reliable the car is and how it truly is like a daily driver. Another thing that really intrigued me about the car was the fact that I'm the first to say around the Nürburgring, Porsche is everywhere. And that's because it's a smart decision. People go out and they drive the car lap after lap. It's reliable. Parts are reasonable to buy. You can get in it. You can go. And if something happens, you've got dealer literally at the Nürburgring. You've got a service center right at the Nürburgring. That makes it very obtainable and easy to operate for many people. But at the same time, for somebody like me who really wants an exciting car that maybe reflects me or reflects one's individuality, that kind of goes away when you have a Porsche at the Nürburgring because you see it everywhere. And that, no matter what you say, you might say, well, I'm only buying these cars for me. But for me, part of it is being my own car, being, you know, I spec'd my 675 the way I did because it was what I felt looked really cool and was really exciting, and I knew it was going to be unique. But you get into a yellow a racing yellow GT3RS and you go around on your first lap of the Nürburgring and you come off with another one, the exact same color, exact same wheels, and it loses some of that specialness that you're looking for. Well, for me, when we took the GT2 on a road trip to Italy, I got to see it outside of the Nürburgring and I got to see it in its own element. And it really did bring a whole new appreciation to the car for me, seeing it in the mountains, seeing it near the ocean, seeing it with just all these other road cars, and you could see how amazing it actually was and how exciting it was. So that also brought a new connection for me with that car, and it was something I was really happy about. One more thing that's going on in the background is I'm looking at what's going on in the supercar world right now, from Ferrari to McLaren to Lamborghini to Porsche, all these other companies, and you've got cars like the STO coming out. You have the Pista that just came out. Now the special edition of the 812 Superfast and GTS is coming out. You've got all of these lightweight special edition track cars coming, and it just ends up being too much. I was thinking, should I buy an STO? I would love to have gotten an STO, but they only have a 4-point harness and you can't add a 6-point to it. Same thing that the Pista had going on. You guys know why I sold my Pista. I've done a whole video on it, so if you guys want to watch that, you can click below, and maybe we'll put that in the description or somewhere up here, so you guys can check that out. But there's so many things going on in the supercar world that there's just too much happening, and it's really hurting my attention towards it. It's making me less interested in it and give me a little bit less desire to play in that game or to play in that space. So I'm really excited to focus more on the cars that I have. One thing that I did last year was I drove the 620R for probably about a third of the season, and I drove exclusively that, and I had a lot of fun with it. I really enjoyed getting to know the car. I enjoyed setting up the suspension. It was down at Manti Racing every week, getting this, change this a little bit, change that a little bit, and getting it to where it drove the exact way that I wanted to. And now I can say the car is very close to how I want it. I want to do some work this spring with the rear sway bars and things like that, but it's very close to how I want it. And I really appreciated driving one car and not jumping from this to that to the other. So part of this whole taxi program is getting to spend more time with you guys, focus more on one car or the other. And it's making me actually quite excited for the season. I'm considering saying, okay, for the first 3 months, maybe I'm only driving the GT3RS or the GT2RS, sorry. Maybe I'm only driving the GT2RS, and I'm going to get used to that car, because one thing that I've always said is that when I go from a McLaren, which is a car that you can really trail brake into the corners, you can brake late, stay on the brakes and let the braking motion lighten up the rear, rotate it and bring it around. And that's something that you really don't do the same way with the GT2RS. So now I'm excited not to be jumping back and forth and saying, oh gosh, I've got to drive this car this way, I've got to break my habits, and then getting back in the McLaren and saying, oh yeah, wait, I can do that again. I'm looking forward to just driving the GT2, really appreciating it and learning how to drive it as fast as I can drive it, not just saying, okay, I'm going to take it easy because I'd only have 2 laps to invest and I'm not going to focus on push, push, push. I'm the type of driver that I need many laps to get used to a car. So that's something I'm really excited about. I'm eager to go ahead and do that. But one other thing that I'm excited about is completely separate from anything Apex, anything taxi, I do want to thin down the fleet. And the reason for that is exactly what I said earlier. I go in too many different directions. I've got too many cars, and I just don't need that many. I know that I wanted to have a E30 through 92 to F80 to M4 collection of all Schirmer cars. But you know what? It's taken too long. I've lost interest in that project just over the time of, okay, we're going to do this car, we're going to do that car, and then the next supercar comes out, and the next this comes out, and you lose interest and you lose focus on that whole collection. So I hate to say it, but I suspect that that collection is probably not going to be completed. At the moment, I have 4 McLarens, which is completely unnecessary, considering that 3 of them have the same exact motor on them. 2 of them have a roof scoop. They're amazing cars individually, but I just don't need 4 of them. So I am going to thin out the McLaren fleet, and I'm going to thin out the BMW fleet. Haven't decided which ones are going to go yet or what I want to keep. In my mind, for some reason, I have a 3-car garage that I think is an ideal number of cars. The E30 M3 is definitely on that list of 3 cars because it's one that I'm really excited about. It takes the cars back to a classic time, a time when it wasn't about electronic suspension systems and all these other fancy modules, etc. It was just about driving a car and having an exciting car. And it was a homologation car. It was a car that they built so that they could actually go racing. And no other car that I have is really in that category, unless you think maybe the VLN M4 by Team Schirmer, because they did race it. But the E30 was a car that BMW built to go racing with, and that is reflected back down in its genetics, if you would. That's the same thing why we find the Yaris to be so much fun, because it was built to go racing. It was built to go rally racing, so they needed to put certain systems in it to make it exciting. Well, actually to make it perform well, which turns out to be exciting. And that's one of the reasons I like it. So E30 M3 definitely on the list. After how much I've just ranted and raved about the GT2, GT2 is definitely on the list, and that leaves one more spot. So the question I have for you guys is, if you had 620R, 2 675 LTs, 1 Spider, 1 Coupe, a 720S, M4 VLN car, E92 M3, F80 M3 with 4 bucket seats, you guys can see all the cars that I have. What would you guys do? What cars would you keep? or what car would you keep knowing that it's a 3-car garage and you already have the GT2 in one spot, you already have the E30 in another spot? What would your third car be out of all that? Or would you sell all those and buy another car that fits in that segment? I'm really curious to see what you guys have. I suspect that the third car that I would keep would either be the 620R or the 675 LT Coupe with the roof scoop. Those are the two that I'm leaning towards. Of course, it would take so much time to offload all of these cars, so it's not anything that's going to happen immediately, but it is the direction that I want to start heading. So look forward to your guys' thoughts, look forward to your ideas on that. But one more thing, because you guys know that I love mountain bikes and I love all these different things that we're doing. I've been riding the GreyP Bike to work. I've been taking them all on. I mean, in fact, I would say any sunny day, I've been riding my bike to work, which is 18 kilometers each direction. And so I've been, on nice days, doing more of that than I have been driving cars. You guys have seen the Unno bike in my garage. You've seen it behind a lot of videos that we've been doing. And I've been telling you all along, okay, we're going to make this bike match the GT2RS. So I'm excited to show you guys the Unno Dash. What we'll do is we'll go over to the bike. I'll show you a little bit about it and what we're gonna do. Now, this is not my bike. This is actually a demo bike that I was sent. And so this has, it's weird. It's almost like a see-through black paint. You can see the carbon fiber weave below it. But the actual bike, my actual bike, which is in Barcelona right now at Unno, is complete exposed carbon fiber. So the entire frame all the way around is carbon fiber. And the concept is basically just to make this match the GT2RS MR. It's a bike that I'm really excited about. I actually ordered it, and the owner of Unno contacted me and said, Robert, I saw that you ordered the bike. Why don't we make it match the GT2RS? And I said, you know, what the heck, let's do it. So I owe them some renders and some ideas of how we want to paint it. But I'll show you guys real quick what the ideas are. One thing that's really important is to bring this line right here into the bike and then bring the white into it. So out of this rail here, I want to come up with a gold stripe right down the middle and have it come up and curl around like this. So you've got the gold and then the exposed carbon all the way around it. And that'll match how it goes up the hood and over the roof and everything like that. Then down on the sides, we want to take this profile here. You can see a nice little line right here, and paint everything on the top side of this white so that this will all be white, and then stop here. So underneath will be carbon, the top will be white to this line, and then everything from this line down will be carbon again. And that's the idea there. Then when you get to the back of the bike, you can see a little profile. See, it's nice we can draw right in the dirt on this. You can see right here, this profile, this will be gold on the top. Just this piece right here, the face right here, and then on this edge will be gold. And then down low, you can see another line, if you would, right here. And this whole thing right there will be white. So that's how we plan to integrate it into the style of the GT2 to make it match. So this will be basically our Unno Dash GT2RS model, if you would, right? So something I'm really excited about. I rode this bike quite a bit. I've taken up some pretty impressive hills and I was able to get it up. That was something that took me, I would say, a good 6 months of riding the GreyP before I could pull that off. And this is a bike that when we do our bike tours at Apex, I'll be taking this for the people that want to do just a normal mountain bike ride, or we'll be taking the GreyP G6 for the people who want to join us on the e-bike ride. And that's another thing that we're going to be announcing very soon. We're waiting to see what happened with COVID openings. What are we allowed to do? Are we allowed to go trackside, etc.? We're going to announce very soon the winners of the first mountain bike tours and everything like that. So keep an eye out. I would say we'll probably be announcing that next week. Anyways, appreciate the time. Appreciate you guys coming to the channel, being so supportive. Excited to see what you guys think about the 3-car garage, and also tell me what you think about the design on the Unno bike. If you guys want to, we'll put a Dropbox link of pictures in the description of this video. If you want to mess around with some renders of what you think would be a cool way to integrate this, you're welcome to send them over. If I see one that I think is really cool, maybe we'll post it and share it. And heck, if it's really, really cool, then maybe we'll even use some of the aspects of it. So feel free to play around with it if that's your thing. And if not, we'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Thank you again.